Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about 5 amazing facts about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. For the first fact, the scene where Pam stumbles into the house and then walks into the bone room, all those bones that you actually see on screen are in fact real bones, which just really adds to the scary, horrifying nature of the film. They used animal bones on top of actual real human bones, and I'm pretty sure at one point at the end of the film, there actually is a real human skeleton. The way that they would get these bones is I'm pretty sure they would just find dead animals around the filming locations, and they would basically just harvest the bones, I guess. Or sometimes I've heard that they would just have animals, like cadavers, dropped off at the set of the Sawyer house, which is pretty crazy. At the very end of filming, they put all the bones in a pile and ultimately they set the bones ablaze, which I heard that gave off a really nasty smell. I can probably imagine that. This fact is really just a highlight of 70s filmmaking and how they really just took things a step further than they do today. Now we have the original set of masks. This contains the killing mask, the old lady mask, and the pretty woman. This fact is mostly who they were casted off of. Now, I would like to give credit to Quinn Nemo at Grim Grinner Studios for showing me this information over on his page. I would have never known this information if it wasn't for him and some of the other people that he did this research with. So I would like to give credit to him. I will leave his Instagram down below. And thank you for him in this hobby. I would have never known this. And yeah, let's get into this. The original 74 killing mask. This is the mask that everybody knows Leatherface for. This mask was based off of the face of Bill Parsley. This was casted off of his face from a life cast. I'm pretty sure Marilyn Burns, the actor for Sally Hardesty, knew a plastic surgeon that also made the teeth for Leatherface, but that is another fact. Just a small fact that's not going to be in this video, but yeah. Anyways, he took a life cast of a couple of the actors' faces, and those life casts would be used to make the original 3 masks for the film. So the killing mask was made from Bill Parsley. The old lady mask was made from John Dugan, who also plays Grandpa, so that's an interesting fact. And the pretty woman mask was made from makeup artist Dottie Pearl, which I have to say, this mask is probably my favorite out of the trio. Something about that pale face with a bunch of bright colored makeup splattered all over it in a messy fashion is just very eerie for some reason. I remember seeing this film as a very young kid, sitting at the end of my grandma's bed as she watched this film, and I just remember being freaked out just seeing this scene, or in particular, the dinner scene with this mask. It was just very horrifying and it stuck with me forever, and now this is one of my all-time favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre masks. The next horrifying fact is that parts of the film were actually inspired on true events, and this takes a turn into the true crime category, so buckle up. Parts of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre were based on the crimes of Ed Gein, an American serial killer from the 1950s who did not run around wielding a chainsaw chasing people, but he did rob graves, and he did wear human faces and make a lot of furniture out of corpses. This is going to be one of the more gruesome facts on this list, so yeah. It wasn't a massacre, he only actually killed 2 people, which is still very fucked up. But it's not the amount of victims he had, it's more of the nature of how he basically disrespected all these dead bodies, and the 2 people that he did kill, how he disrespected their bodies. Basically, when he was wearing these women's faces, he would try to basically kind of take on their personality or pretend to be his mother, which that is kind of another aspect that links him to the events of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But yeah, this is the only macabre kind of real true crime fact on this list. So now we're gonna go back to talking about the actual film. And now for fact number 2, we're gonna be talking about how the opening credits were made. I just recently found this out, that the red stuff that you see in the background is actually a close-up edited video of a solar flare, which I think is pretty cool. I never actually noticed this before. I thought it was something just computer generated, but no, this is a solar flare. And I actually tested this out for myself, taking a solar flare video off of the internet and shading it in a red color, and it came out like this. This is a pretty odd fact, but I think it's still pretty interesting to show how some of the aspects of the original film were made. So let's head on to the next one. And for our final fact, we're going to be talking about the absolutely insane set conditions. Anyways, let's just hop straight in. The first insane thing is nobody was allowed to change their outfits. The main costumes that our characters wear in this film, they had to wear that for at least a month because they were scared that if they ever washed the clothes, that they would probably get altered and they just wouldn't look the same on screen as they did in the last scene. So, pretty understandable, but still pretty crazy. Also, everybody on set at least had one injury during this whole set. Marilyn Burns had a sprained ankle from the window jumping scene in the final act of the film. Gunnar Hansen had a burn on his leg from when the chainsaw hit the metal plate under his leg in the chase scene, and it heated up the metal plate and it burned his leg. That groan you hear from Leatherface when he falls down in the third act of the film is very real. That is the sound of Gunnar Hansen's leg being burned by the heated up plate. Another gross thing is during the dinner scene, keep in mind this is being shot in Texas in the summer, so it's about 100 degrees or something like that, and they have the windows all blacked out. I'm pretty sure in this house they probably don't have any air conditioning, I'd have to guess, and they have all these animal bones around them. So the heat is getting to these animal bones and it is giving off this very disgusting smell. Everybody's having to go out every 5 minutes, throw up, stick their heads out the window of the house, and it was just a very big mess. The bone lights that you see on the screen, they were heating up the bones from like the heat of the light bulb, and they were like burning the bones. So just imagine the smell of that, and well, I thought my uncle's room smelled bad. Anyways guys, thank you for tuning into this video, and hopefully you learned something new, and hopefully I get to do more videos like this in the future. Anyways guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.